everybody. Welcome to the show. Today, we're going to be talking with Yossi Katz. We got to meet each other about maybe 9 months ago, 6 months ago, something like that. He joined the Facebook Ads MBA program. And since then, it's just been, well, see, massive stuff. I could say a million things, but I'll let him talk about it himself. Hey, my man, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic.
I love it.
Every single day since knowing you, I've been doing fantastic, actually.
I love that, man. I love that. Well, why don't you tell people a little bit about yourself, and then we can kind of dive into some things.
Okay, absolutely. So I actually, in my personal career, I made a transition from the non-for-profit world to the for-profit world, specifically marketing, which is an interesting story. We started soliciting donations in my old job through Facebook ads. We promoted different events and things like that. And a friend of mine who had done this very successfully, that was hired by the company, he actually pushed me into incorporating that type of program with the company, with the non-for-profit, and that's how I got my feet wet. At a certain point, I decided to go on my own, and a friend of mine recommended a pet company as my first client. He kind of put us together, and I threw myself into it. And in the beginning, I had other people that were helping me with the Facebook ads, with the marketing, and we just weren't getting anywhere. I was watching every single YouTube video, reading everything I could. I went from one guy to another guy to another guy, and none of them were really too successful. The iOS thing, kind of like, I was like not sure if that was the issue or not, because I didn't have that much experience in Facebook, so I didn't know if it was that much better before or after. But everyone's throwing that around. That was the big excuse. And I just kept on reading and reading and reading. And I actually, interesting enough, so the way I got to know you, Charlie, is because I watched one of these videos where you had Andy on.
Oh yeah, Andy's great.
And
He's so smart.
Andy's awesome. And I was reading some other things he posted on some kind of group, and we were going back and forth, and he was teaching me certain things. And then I saw the interview, and I saw that this is a whole school of thought. It's more than just one, it's more than just you. It's actually become like a whole Facebook marketing culture.
Oh yeah, and I realized a fellowship around the world. Absolutely.
Exactly. And so I was working with Andy, and Andy taught me a lot, and I was watching everything you were putting out, and I was finally like, someone is making sense out of this whole thing. Because I was just going in circles and circles, just reading everything, watching every video. Everyone's contradicting each other. I didn't know what to do. It was my first company. I obviously wanted to be successful with it and hoping that it would lead to other opportunities. And then everything you guys said just made so much sense. What I like, and I've said this to you before, what I love most about the program is it's not just, it's not even something I would say is only has to do with marketing, but I say that you have a philosophy, which is like the simplicity doctrine. And it's kind of like you're always saying, focus on the problem that's in front of you, and like what your one solution is, to addressing that problem. And I found that so helpful because, there's so many things flashing, and we try this, we try that. We have overlapping tests. We don't know, what pushed the needle, what pushed it backwards, what pushed it forward. And you're always like, there's so many things I could say about the program, but to me, that was a huge one. And that really resonated with me, was, focus on what's my problem? What are the solutions? Let's do one thing at a time, and super focus. That was a huge thing, but, and if I can say this, I remember when we spoke before I joined the program. So I hope you're all right with me.
Please. Yeah, 100%. I'm an open book. We don't have any secrets here, man. This is beautiful.
So I asked you, Charlie, I said, if you're such a successful guy, maybe it's not polite to ask, but in my mind, I'm thinking like, why are you helping all these other people? Just go make a lot of money. You're living in California already. I live in Jersey. It's cold here. It's been a decent winter. So I'm like thinking we might skip winter this year, but it's still not California. Uh, and I'm like, just you just got married and stuff. Enjoy life. I mean, why do you got to be busy with all of us guys? And your response was so different than what I would have expected. I really felt a personal connection where you talked about yourself and recovery,
Yeah.
uh, and how being engaged with people and helping them and creating this community is actually, it's not just a business type of thing. You're trying to make some money off of it. It's actually part of your identity. It gives you uh, joy and meaning in life. And I really felt that that was sincere. And that was actually what pushed me to trust you, because I trusted other people and they let me down. You know, I think they were well meaning oftentimes, but they're full of crap.
Yeah.
So,
I hear that and I appreciate that. Yeah, I think there are a lot of people with a lot of motivations, and I'm not here to say that any one of them is more valuable or less valuable than the other. But mine personally is just very much in that I see a way to help people. I see a lot of people struggling, and I've had a lot of struggle. And if I can share people the struggles that I've had and the solutions that I've had to them, and that helps them avoid the pain points and be more successful and allows people to provide for others and create jobs and chase their dreams and see more success and less stress and just bring more happiness into their life, like that makes me feel good. I put my head on the pillow at the end of the night with a smile on my face, and every day I get to talk to people like you where it's just like, man, things are working out. Like I was completely lost in the wilderness and now everything makes sense. And I can't tell you how good that makes me feel.
it really does. I mean, there's so many things going on, and you're on YouTube and you're watching everything, and you don't know where to start. And I'm talking about after having done this, I'd already dabbled in. I was, like I said, I've been doing it for non-for-profits for a while, and I was doing this for about a year and a half, I think, hiring different people. I had a few clients at that point, and you know, you want your clients to be successful, and you want to feel good about yourself that you're doing a good job. So you just watch everything and you try to learn as much as you can, and you're super motivated. But it just gets really, really confusing. For someone to come with a systematic approach, a no BS systematic approach that really shows you step by step how to use Facebook. And not just, I remember also one of the things I asked you was, it was beyond just like getting good ROAS, which is, that's the big term everyone's always throwing around. I wanted to help them with their business. And I remember asking you, is this going to help me help them with their bottom line, like building their business? That was important to me. I don't want to just be like some marketing guy that people call up and they throw some money at, and they hope that he gets a good ROAS for the company. And you said absolutely. And that has been something that really has made a difference for my clients. I'm able to offer them a lot of advice, general business advice. I'm able to look at the whole picture and look beyond ROAS. And as to quote you, Charlie, and I quote you all the time on this, Facebook is the best amplifier of a successful business. And I've seen that go both ways. That's so true, where people come to me, and I made the mistake of taking them on as clients, and they didn't have a great business model, and you can try everything and you hit your head against the wall and you throw everything at Facebook, and you just don't get the results you need. Whereas you can have a business that's successful and the guy's not doing a great job on Facebook, and they do okay because they have a great product and they have, a great offer and hopefully a decent website, and you don't have to do that much. So that has really been that mentality of looking at Facebook as an amplifier. I think that's a real game changer for people.
Yeah, I hope so, because I feel so many people think that Facebook is there to generate profit, and like I always tell people it's one of the worst exchange rates you can get on your investment, right? And at the end of the day, we should be looking at digital marketing as I'm investing money to see a return, right? It's no different than the stock market or crypto or baseball cards, right? Like you want some value. And hopefully you're getting more value than you put in when you extract it. And when you use this when you use Facebook, not only for market research, but more for business amplification, what you're doing is you're saying, we have something that works. How do we throw fuel on that fire? It's the same thing as like if you were to get funding. If somebody were to come to your business tomorrow and give you $1 million, what would you do with it? If you don't have a very good idea, like they're never going to come to you. And so the idea of you should have this structure and framework in mind when you're doing Facebook ads of, this is how my business makes money. Here's how I'm going to take that and make way more money. Because it's not Facebook that's bringing me more cash. It's Facebook making the things that work see far more opportunity.
And that's been just hugely helpful. It really has been. I mean, before I take on a new client now, I think like to myself, like, what would Charlie say? What would he say?
I'll take it.
Yeah, seriously, that's really been you're my point of reference, because we've had discussions. One of the amazing things about the program is that you get all these one-on-ones, and I remember there was an opportunity that came up. Someone basically offered me a company for free, and I asked you about it. I was all excited, and I asked you about it, and you explained to me what some of the disadvantages were, and I passed on it. But that was a conversation that you taught me a lot about. What types of companies are worth using Facebook to amplify. Again, it goes back to that whole discussion. There's so much that I've gotten out of this course. Like, Charlie, we've got that Slack group, the private Slack group.
Yeah.
The unofficial,
Well, yeah, and to be fair too, I'm opening up that Slack group. I mean, it's definitely mostly comprised of folks that are in the Facebook Ads MBA program, but it's now available to everybody at Disruptor School. They can sign up for that, because I found that there's a lot of folks that might not be ready for the Facebook Ads MBA program as much as I think it's the best thing they can. But hey, look, they might want to kick the tires a little bit, or they might not know how to get there. And so that Slack group is now open to everybody at Disruptor School, disruptorschool.com for what it's worth. Also a Facebook page, you can check it out. And yeah, we've got everything is available there now for the folks that are interested in it. So 100%, like, it's not necessarily a secret. Like, it's out there for everybody as of yesterday. It is now available for everyone.
On the Slack group, literally people are like, what would Charlie say about this or that? I mean, those are the discussions, and he's a humble guy, but it's not, I'm not trying to praise him because he's some guru that promises the world. He's really teaching you business fundamentals. I think that it's not like everything that he says is so pretty, but he's teaching you how to understand the business and how to understand where opportunities lie. He's teaching you how to understand how to use Facebook as a tool to amplify the business. There's so many parts to the course that I found helpful. Just as one of the tools that we have for testing ads is the Golden Bear method. Has been where you can really quickly go through just a ton of ads for a small amount of money and get a really, really good idea about whether Facebook is going to. First of all, you can select the ones that are most likely to perform on Facebook and get a really good idea of if that ad is going to be successful or not. I mean, I didn't have any method. I used to just test everything. It took forever. It cost a lot of money. It's worth taking the course just to to understand the Golden Bear method of testing ads. I think the course is worth it just for that. I mean, that has been so helpful. Everything I run now, is with Golden Bear. So I'm using this for like 5 or 6 different companies, and it's proven with every company, and it is proven to. I would say 90 to 95% of the time it gets it right at a fraction of the cost and a lot quicker. Just that alone is, you got a framework over here that has been so helpful for me. And to give a little bit of background, so I'm an Orthodox Jew, and I live in Lakewood, New Jersey, where we have a lot of young entrepreneurs that are running successful businesses within the Jewish community over here. And I got lucky that there are not that many people that are proficient in Facebook ads, and that was taking the course was an investment for me, where I wanted to be kind of the go-to person in the community that knew Facebook ads, and so I jumped in. Also, like I said, Charlie's personal touch with his own story, I felt that was very authentic. And between those two things, it's just been a great investment for me. Like I was doing, as Charlie says, like the stock market trading of checking things like every 5 minutes, turning things on, turning them off. And now it's like maybe I make one change every 2 or 3 days if things are going well. Few basic rules that you got, and then you focus on the ads, and beyond that, you focus on the business fundamentals, helping the business owner make the right choices. Looking at one of the things that I've really put a lot of focus in is the second purchase that you talked so much
Second
about,
purchase rate,
growing
like
the LTV.
LTV. Like we had a huge, I think we had like 2 chats, like one-on-one even, where it was like diving into like, how do we look at our Facebook ads and how do we look at our business performance? And knowing that what we're really trying to do is acquire profitable customer journeys at a profit. What do those customer journeys look like that we can focus on, and how do we do that better? And the impact on LTV is tremendous, which ultimately means you have more revenue, which means right away you can spend more money on your Facebook ads, and you can pay more to acquire a sale because you know that customer is worth more. So you got more revenue in the bank when you wake up in the morning every day, and you can spend more money to acquire somebody, which makes scale really easy. And I think that goes to the idea of a good business will scale a Facebook ad account. But a really good Facebook ad account won't necessarily scale the business. And I think so many people have been taught, well, all I need to scale my business is good Facebook ads. And that's the opposite of how you should be looking at something.
And just to give just to share a case study, Charlie, just because the account that I picked to kind of go over with you on our one-on-ones was the dog treat company. When I started, they were doing $2,500 a month in sales, and we're going to do about close to 3 million this year in revenue. And I promise you, it's been a direct result of what you've taught me in the course.
3 million. That's amazing.
Yeah. One of the things we do is we've got these smoked bones. They're super popular. I found that through Golden Bear testing. It wasn't even the product we were selling at the time when I started running the Facebook account. We were doing jerky treats that we make also. Those are like our 2 kind of in-house specialties that we do ourselves. And then I said, what the heck, let me throw up the bones in the Golden Bear and let me test that. And I saw the results were much better. In the beginning, it was just one ad I had that started pushing the company forward, and now we've got 4 or 5. And I remember you telling me the problem is you're just not spending enough money, because I was like, let me find more ads. And you're like, no, that's not your problem. You just got to spend more money on what you have. And this thing has just exploded. The company's based out of Philadelphia. I went to visit yesterday, and they've got a smokehouse near there. The smokehouse can't keep up.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
I love
so
that.
building another smokehouse just for us. And
so
we're not their only client.
Employing like manufacturers, they're getting people to do more construction stuff, more employees to make more things, to sell more good stuff. I'm gonna have to ask you for some of these smoke bones because I got 2 puppies in here.
I gotta send you some. I know.
Yeah, I would love to.
Just
not asking for freebies and handouts, but hey, if you got a couple extra lying around,
I'm happy to send you. And I remember you saying, like, because I was only doing 5% every 3 days as far as increasing the spend. And I remember you telling me, like, or maybe you said it in the chorus, like, that sounds kind of conservative. And first of all, when you ran the numbers, it's a lot better than it sounds, because over a year, the numbers better than I do.
Oh, yeah.
But I remember you telling me
1% a day over a course of a year can easily 3 to 10x a business. 5% every few days, like my women's clothing business went from 200,000 in January total revenue. We've done 600,000 in the first 4 days of January this year.
Wow!
Like last year, what we did in January, we did in 30 hours in this January. Like it's game changer. People are so scared. Like, I want to scale fast and do all this stuff. It's like,
right?
Why not let 3 months from now, the best day you'll ever have be the worst day you're gonna ever see? Like, slow and steady means you also understand what happens to email and to conversion rate optimization on your web pages and to search and all of that stuff. And It helps with cash flow and inventory management. And the idea of like, if they had scaled 10x overnight, they wouldn't even be able to fulfill all the orders for the smokehouse. They would have been out of business.
Well, that's what I was going to say to you. I remember you telling me, I was like, why don't we, let's be a little more aggressive. And you're like, or maybe you said it in the chorus. I just, I hear your voice all the time. So anyway, so I was like, you said, that they're not going to be able to keep up. So I remember at one point telling this to the owner of the company, and he kind of laughed at me. So I was there yesterday in Philly, and I saw the guy that, his full-time job is now just packing these orders. And he's like, he looked like, he's going to collapse because he keeps on falling behind, and this just keeps on growing and growing and growing. It's absolutely unbelievable. And for everyone out there, as a bonus, the owner of the company's approached me now to be his partner and another venture, a little bit different, little twist on it. And so we actually, that's why I went down there. We sat with the accountant, we filled out the paperwork. I mean, I don't know if there's a better way of saying someone is happy with your services than them asking you to be their partner in something else.
That's amazing, man. Yeah. Good for you. It was like, I remember you came to me, you're like, yeah, I've got this community of entrepreneurs. I really want to help them out.
Right.
What you say makes sense. And you've gone from like, I hope this thing works out for me, to people are making me a partner in their business, and I'm lifting up my community, and I'm becoming a valuable board member of like successful entrepreneurs that have been clients of mine. And that's just the beginning, man. I mean, that's phenomenal, dude. Like, congratulations.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, it was absolutely taking this course. That was definitely the turning point for me. I mean, I'm a pretty smart guy, and I was watching a lot of videos and stuff. I was reading a lot. I've been involved in, I delivered newspapers when I was 6 years old. I had that little red wagon or whatever it was with the newspapers on it. And sometimes sometimes a little cold, and I kind of put a few extra newspapers at one house to finish my route a little sooner. So I've been involved in business for a while, and absolutely the course was the turning point. It's more than some kind of hack or whatever. It's really a philosophy that is not only applicable. Obviously, Facebook is kind of, we're looking at everything through the lens of Facebook, but there's just so much that is just general business philosophy that's helpful way beyond Facebook. I had clients that signed me up, to help them with Facebook, and I'm helping them with their I'm their general marketing guy, helping them way beyond Facebook make big decisions, head in different directions and stuff like that. And I really attribute all of that as a turning point to everything I learned. Hopefully I'm a good student.
Oh, thank you so much, man. I mean, I'm so happy for you. I think this is so great. I mean, I think, if I remember our notes from our calls, just like, I feel like, I think I even have them here. I can search here for a second, but just the ability for you to really kind of get this stuff that you were really looking for, I think is just so amazing. Okay. Yeah. I have it here. You were like, you found me through Andy. You tried a bunch of gurus and courses. You were running through a lot of discounts and bundles, and things weren't really working. You were stuck, I think, at 40K a month-ish on stuff. And, what you were really looking for was, that you wanted to really help the businesses around you, your community, and really understand how to take this and be able to commit to a business plan and strategy with a scalable effort. And exactly. What it sounds like to me is, I don't think you're running discounts much anymore. You're probably doing a lot better than 40K with this brand if they have to open up another factory. And the net ad for everybody else around you. I mean, this is just great, man. I'm so glad to hear that.
I remember the day where I said there's no more discounts. We have a little sign up.
No more.
Yeah, that's right. We have a little sign up bonus, whatever it is, but
sure.
First purchase, but that's about it. I used to run some as 30-40% off emails just to get things moving, and I thought that was building the business. And we were shocked when we stopped running those discounts. We were so surprised that, how our bottom line started growing and people were still coming back. They were still purchasing. we were getting better customers that have a higher LTV, higher AOV. I mean, that was a big turning point also. And there's so many people that try that discounting thing, and that was surprising to me. I would never have known that.
Yeah, I think, you know, running a discount is really sexy, easy money. I always like to think of it, maybe because I'm recovered or whatever, but like, it feels like a drug. The problem is, like, yeah, do it once and you feel great. But when like you need it physically to stay like in business, you're dead. And the easiest way to stay off of it is to literally just stop doing it, right? And I think one of the biggest problems is so many businesses get used to running discounts as a standard operating procedure because they've been told by marketers that that's how you get a good ROAS. Like, look, you want a good ROAS, you want a good email campaign, you want a good Facebook, run a huge discount and you're going to get great results. But what that does to your cash flow, your LTV, the quality of your customer, like your PSM, it crushes everything. And I think the ability to move beyond that and see why is so massive. And I love hearing that from you. And really with our conversations about, I think, PSM, the profitable scaling margin, and that, it feels like that's been really helpful for you to kind of understand these numbers and be able to back it up when somebody says, when you tell them we're not going to run discounts anymore, and they say, that's crazy. Why wouldn't we do that? Like, now you've got ammo and numbers.
Yeah,
like
right. And I honestly feel like, with this particular company, we haven't even scratched the surface. There's so much, even in the course itself, there's so many videos. I just keep on saying, because you've got them all archived, all the weekly classes. There's so many, when I go through that list with all the titles and the subjects, there's so many of them. I think every day I say, okay, I'm going to start catching up, and I can't even get to a lot of this stuff. There's just so much there. This is a course that if anyone is on the fence, I'm telling you from my personal experience, push yourself. It's absolutely worth taking this course. It's a few months of learning a lot of information, but afterwards you're going to be in such a better place. Your time management, the amount of time you have, you're going to have way more time. You'll be much more focused on important things. You'll be able to make decisions. Charlie will teach you how to focus just on, like I started, his like simplicity doctrine, I call it, looking at that one decision that you have to make at that exact time and not becoming overwhelmed, not looking at all the shiny objects. When you watch when I go back now and I watch the YouTube videos and I see all these so-called gurus and stuff like that, like I don't feel intimidated anymore. I used to kind of feel like, oh, everyone has got the secret and you got to watch every single video out there, because if you God forbid miss a video, like that's it, you're going to be left behind in the dust or something like that. And then when I watch them, it's like, does anyone have anything, hopefully they have something that's valuable, but I'm trying to find, something maybe that we missed in the course. But for the most part, it's like you have a center of gravity where you know how to look at everything and understand if what they're saying is helpful or not, and not be overwhelmed and not feel like you're missing something that you have to watch every single video out there. This has just been a real game changer for me, and it really was one of the best decisions I've ever made. So I'm just so grateful. That's why maybe I sound like I'm praising Charlie a little too much, but it really, I told you my case study, and that's really been my experience.
I think that's fantastic, man. And thank you so much for saying that stuff. Like I said, this is why I do this thing, because I get to have these conversations with people around the world every day. It makes me feel great, and like, hey, I'm selfish. I want to feel good.
You
so
deserve it.
I eat well, and I get to help people be successful.
I don't think there's too many people of your caliber that make themselves so available. And just thinking of an example of that, like when and I hope you don't mind me advertising this, but when we have the one-on-ones, like, you're never looking at your watch. You're never like, oh, the guy's going overtime. Charlie was so generous with his time. If you send him a question, he'll always answer you. There's none of these. It's not like checking, oh, where's the guy like up to in the course? How much money did he pay me? All that type of stuff. I mean, you really, like, of course it costs money and whatever it is, but like, it's so not about the money. And you'll be able to sense that right away when you meet with Charlie. He's always there for you. Yeah, I don't know what else to say.
Well, I appreciate it. I think the one thing that I would love to be able to finish this with is how do people get in touch with you? Because there's going to be people here that maybe they don't want to make the investment, but they love what you are doing. And they're like, man, he did that for that other company. I want him to do it for me. How do we get people to be able to talk to you? Because, hey, look, I love the fact you're trying to tell people to talk to me. Believe me, I love it. But part of the success is putting people in touch with those that can make it happen. And you're somebody that they hire you day one, things are going to get better. And I would love to, be able to end this with just like, how can somebody get in touch with you?
I'll share my personal email address. Anyone that wants to reach out to me, and if you want to ask me anything about this interview, there's anyone that wants to talk to me about joining the program that's on the fence, I'm happy to spend a few minutes and if they have any specific questions for me, I'm happy to answer those. My personal email address is Yossi, Yossi, F like Frank, K like Katz @gmail.com. You're more than welcome to reach out to me. And yeah.
I'm going to just put this up here real quick so we've got it on the screen and so people can see it. And yeah, man, there we go. Boom.
There you go.
There we go. Well, man, I just want to say thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I'm super excited for the direction you're going into. That's phenomenal. And I can't wait for more one-on-ones and more opportunities because that's one thing too is like, after the end of the program, like, they're always still available. Like, it's not like I disappear. There's not a timeline. This is a lifetime thing, right? Like, this is a community. Like, we are in this thing together. This is a fellowship. And what I love is folks like you and Andy and a lot of the other folks that have come on here, Leslie and Jordan and Kelvin and Jared, and all of these folks just like really being able to share what's happening and helping each other out. And I think one of the biggest things that I love is that all of you are good at different stuff. And what's amazing is when everybody can come to the table with a slightly different expertise and no ego, not trying to sell people stuff. I can't tell you how many people say, yeah, we've got a community, no ego. And it's literally just a whole bunch of people trying to sell each other on other stuff while they're lying to each other. And every time they meet up with each other, just sales pitches. Like, this legitimately, like, I'll be fair. I've got a bit of an ego, of course, but like, I'm not bringing something where like I'm holding something back. You know what I mean? And I think everybody has been so giving and so just open because there's literally nothing to gain with not being helpful.
Yeah.
And the more that you and other people share everything all the time, just the more value it brings. And that's one of the biggest pieces, I think, more than anything about the Facebook Ads MBA program and about Disrupt Your School is that the group of people we have are basically the folks that are they're done with all of the other just big name, empty win, kind of waste of time stuff. We're all here for a reason. And I love that for whatever reason it is, maybe it's because of who I am, but everybody has been like you, just happy, giving, gracious, and not shy, and willing to be helpful to others and ask for nothing for it. And as a result, we all get so much more than like what you wanted for success when we talked was to make that 40K stuff kind of work out well and have a plan.
Yeah.
And within a year, you're like a partner in a big business trying to help out everybody else. Like what you achieved is so far above and beyond what your goal was. Like that to me is the most beautiful thing ever. And I just want to say that because I really appreciate it. And I want other people to know that that's what you've done for yourself and what you can do for other people. So while we're saying all this stuff, there it is right there. If you want to get in touch with them, go for it. Because you're a guy that can do that for other people now. And it's sort of like you've got the secret power, as it were. It's not even that it's a secret or it's
Of
that
course.
hard. It's just, you made the investment in yourself, and now anybody that invests in you is going to see the return. And that's the most beautiful thing ever, man. So I want to say thank you very much. And if there's anything else you want to say, I'll let it be. Other than that, we can say goodbye, man. And
No, that's about it.
next time I go out how close are you to New York City?
About an hour.
Okay. Well, next time I get up to New York City, which will probably be a couple times this year, I might get a place out there. I definitely want to,
Yes.
make something happen.
I'd love to.
I'm gonna do some in-person stuff, and I would love to get to shake your hand.
Awesome. I'd love to shake your hand.
There we go. All right, man. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and I'll talk to you later. And everybody else is watching, like, there you go. There's the email address. There it is. I love it. I'll talk to you later, man.
Thanks so much.
See ya.
Okay. Bye-bye.